Hey everybody, it's Lebo again with Lebo's Pinball. Back on bank ball. So, last episode we were focusing on the pop bumpers. Showed you how to rebuild them, all the parts that go into it. And I've got that part done. I've got the switches adjusted, at least as far as we know until the game's back in the cabinet and playing, and then we'll fine tune it, make sure things are working properly. But from there, once I got done with that, I moved over actually to the slings. I didn't capture any video on it, but very basic. What I focused on this was taking the coils out, pulling out the old sleeves. Where they are right here. I am not certain, but these might actually be the original sleeves. They look pretty weathered. Anyways, took the old ones out, got new ones. They're perfect fit. Cleaned everything up, even polished the brackets like I did, since it's one of these things where some of these metal parts, underneath kind of make it look kind of cool. But I think, unless I'm missing something, I think we're pretty much done on the bottom side. And so now it's time to flip it back over again and start focusing on the top side of the playfield. And actually, we'll go ahead and mention I already started in on this a little bit. Of course, you know the pop bumpers. We already took care of that area, so that part's fine. And I started to start changing all of the bands with the Titan silicone bands on all the other areas because I ordered a bunch of parts. Well, it turns out that these, which are 5/16, that I thought was the right size for that, silly me, it's actually 3/8. So I had to order some others, and they're here now. So that delayed things for about a week or so until I got parts in. But while I was waiting on that, I shifted over to the shooter lane. So I'm going to do a quick cutaway to show you. Here's what the shooter lane looked like before. You'll notice it's just kind of dirty. Of course, the metal parts there are dirty and need to be polished up a little bit. But even part of it, where the ball strikes this one metal piece all the time, it was hammered pretty bad. So I got that on an anvil basically and flattened it out a lot better than what it was. You can still see that it's dented a little bit, but it's certainly better than what it was. But more importantly, the wooden area, if you notice from this shot, you can see some of the dirt that's down, right where the ball lands, and it's in that shooter lane. It was dirty, and there was a pretty significant ball trail all the way up the lane. Well, I managed to get that mostly out. The way I did it was actually sanding it a little bit. I started out using rubbing alcohol to kind of get in there and clean things out, but actually went back with can't remember, it was pretty high grit sandpaper to start sanding that down, and then actually and that was most of the way up, but this area down here, right where the ball first lands, it was really the dirt was really deep into the wood, and so had to kind of sand it a little deeper. So taking wooden dowel, wrapping it with that sandpaper, and then just going back and forth to try to go get most of that dirt out, and most of it came out. Now I did follow back up. I do have a little clear coat that I've run all the way up to about this area. It's I think it's a semi-gloss. So I didn't want it to get I didn't want it to stand out to where it didn't look consistent with the gloss on the rest of this part of this upper playfield here, and I think it actually turned out pretty decent. But if you look at this cutaway now, you can see where it's a lot cleaner all the way up. So anyways, I've got that part taken care of, and now it's time to just jump back into the process of working from this top part of this playfield, and we're going to work down. And what we're going to start doing now is start taking these plastics and these lanes apart and just start swapping out the bands with the silicone bands, cleaning up the area, polishing it, waxing it, and then just start putting it back together. And that part should be pretty straightforward, at least mostly through this area. So we're going to go ahead and zip right through it. Hang tight, here we go. All right, so we've got all the bands on. We've got the playfield cleaned up. I've waxed some of the areas, but I need to do a final wax over everything so that the paint's nice and protected. But it's coming along. From here, we're gonna. I guess the next steps, we're gonna go ahead and maybe put it back in the cabinet. I do know that a couple other things we need to do to the cabinet, or on the cabinet. The lock bar, we're gonna work on the end caps, clean that up, try to see if we can polish that out, and then also the side rails, see if we can improve them just a little bit. But we are definitely approaching the finish line, I am thinking, unless I'm just forgetting something super major on this game. But thanks for watching.